Hi guys, this wee quick tutorial is going to look at 2 to 3 person composites. It's going to use a similar photographic technique to the stop frame animation in that the scene itself will not move, but the person will be moving through the scene and be in 2 or 3 different positions. So for this I'm going to use 3 images that I've already taken. Okay, so just give me a wee second to find them. And here we are. So I'm going to go for the smaller images here. I've compressed these already a couple of times and I'm going to open the 3 of them. You will see in CF6 that they do line up along the top as tabs. So the first thing we want to do is actually do window, arrange and float all in workspace so that they cascade and we can see them sort of side by side. Okay. The next thing that I'm going to do here is choose one of them to be my target. So I'm going to use the guy on the left and I'm going to use the other 2 to bring in. Okay, so the quickest and easiest way to bring an item in is to be on your move tool. We could do the whole select all, go to edit and copy, go to your target area and edit and paste. Okay, but this is just a wee bit easier. So if we click on the move tool, click on the item that we want to bring in, physically hold down the mouse on the pixels that we want to bring in, and as we bring it in, you'll see there the cursor will change. If we hold down the shift key before we let go of the mouse, what will happen is the edges of the photograph that I've just brought in will snap to the edge of the frame on the other. Okay, and if I just minimize the one that I've just brought in so that we don't get confused, you'll see that on my target layer, my target image, we have a background and a layer 1. And if I switch off layer 1, you see the guy on the left. If I switch on layer 1, we see the guy in the middle. Okay, so these are 2 solid layers. So the quickest way to see both of them side by side is make sure that you're on layer 1, and on this particular instance if I go to the eraser, okay, left 6 option 1, and make a fair sizable brush with a soft edge, make it bigger than that. Do remember that you can hover over your image whilst this particular dialog box is currently operating to see the size of your brush. Okay, and that's a good size there. So with layer 1 showing, and I'm going to switch off the background, as I start to delete, you'll see I delete away to checkers. And the reason for that being that checkers is going to denote transparency. So if I switch on background 1, you'll see there that we have the guy on the left and the guy in the middle. So if I want to bring in the third guy, I'm going to go to my move tool. I'm going to click on the image where I want to bring him in from. And as I start to bring him in, remember to hold down the shift key, okay, so that the edges of his image snap to the edges of my original image. And again, we can close him down. On my target image, I've got 3 layers. If I switch off the 2 bottom ones, you'll see there that the guy on the right is still there, as is all of the wall and the desk in the forefront. Okay, so what are we going to do? We're going to delete as much of this as we can without deleting his arm. So if we go to the eraser, and you'll see that that brush size is a fair old size. So I'm just going to take that down slightly. Smaller brushes will make for more work, but it also makes for more accurate work from time to time. So I'm going to just delete as much as I dare. Okay. And whenever I feel that I'm getting a wee bit too close, where I can maybe delete part of him, I'm going to stop and I'm going to decrease the size of the brush. Okay, do bear in mind that the edge of the softness of the brush decreases as the brush does too. Okay, so if softness is 10%, it's a proportionate 10% to the size of the brush. So let's just take that down a bit more. And at this stage, we know we're getting pretty close to that shadow. And we might also just want to, first of all, go full screen. So maximize your image, which allows you to see more of them. Unfortunately, we've just hidden everything else. Okay, no big deal. Don't panic. If we press Tab on the keyboard, no, Tab doesn't work. Press F on your keyboard, and that'll take you through screen modes, and you can now see your layers and stuff. So if we switch on the middle layer, you'll see that his head is in front of the shadow. Okay, so we need to be very careful here. We can also switch on the very background layer at this stage if we wish to. So we're still working on layer 2, which is the top layer, the guy on the right. We need to take our brush down a little bit more in size and maybe harden up the edge of it slightly to 50% or thereabouts. And we're just being really, really careful. Now, it's not so much that I'm worried about up this side or down that side. We'll worry about different things at different times. I'm worried about not giving him enough of his head or taking off too much where we've got a halo going on around the shadow. So a couple of different things to think about. So on that layer 2, if we look at the opacity and take that down a little bit, that allows his head contour to come through on that top layer, so we know where or how far we can delete. And we're going to be just reasonably careful with this. I can get the ear in there. Take the softness of the brush down a little bit. I did that through computer keyboard controls, which was shift and left square brackets. That'll soften the edge of your brush. Shift and right square brackets will harden it. The left square bracket by itself will decrease the size of your brush, whilst the right square bracket will increase the size of your brush. Okay, so I'm just trying to neaten that up slightly. Not too worried about a little softness on the shadow itself. I am worried about taking off too much hair or leaving shadow behind. Okay, so I'm just going to zoom in a bit more. I'm just going to navigate to the side of his head, and I'm going to harden up my brush. So shift and right square bracket is the same as hitting this little down arrow and taking the hardness up to the right. Now you don't want 100% hardness because it will look like a cardboard cutout. It's getting that way already. Okay, and if I make the brush smaller, so left square bracket, and just take off as much as I possibly dare, and you'll see I'm starting to clip the shadow. So I'm just going to do edit and step back and just go gently. So I'm clicking my mouse rather than clicking and dragging my mouse. Okay, just to kind of get the contour. There's a couple of other wee hints and tips here I could give you, but we'll hold fire on those for the time being. Okay, so I just need to edit and step back, taking away too much of that shadow again, and step back again. Okay, so we don't want a halo going around him as such. So let's just take down the opacity a little bit more. Okay, so there's a little bit of his hair here. And again, if I just take the brush size down, so left square bracket, there's a little bit there and a little bit there. But the rest of it looks reasonable. Just define the edges slightly. So then on that top layer, we're only deleting off the top layer at this stage. If I put that opacity back up to 100%, I've got a little bit of fringing, but I've already deleted it, so I'm not going to worry too much. But there we have our 3-person composite or our multi-person composite. Okay, again, if we were to save that at the minute, it would automatically go to a PSD because there's layers involved. But if you've finished and you're completely happy with what you've done, you would save as a JPEG at the highest possible quality at 12. Okay, enjoy. Thanks, guys.